when you're not sleeping well, when your sleep is not efficient or effective, your cortisol levels spike. And this tells your brain that we are in survival mode, right? So when your cortisol levels spike, your brain is going to get a signal that you need quick energy. And what is the first thing that our brains go to, because this is a primitive response? The first thing that we go to is food. And the first thing we go to is food that gives us energy quickly. And what gives us energy quickly? What molecular compounds break down into energy quickly? It is sugar compounds, right? Specifically, simple sugars. So, high sugar food, candy, right? Things that don't need so much energy to break down, right? So protein takes energy to break down. It takes a little bit longer. It doesn't give us quick energy. In fact, protein is a muscle builder. It's much more of a builder in the body, right? So what gives us energy is carbohydrates, right? And this is a whole other conversation, but it's why this is important for us to eat carbohydrates in our diet on a regular basis. But what gives us that quick energy is simple sugars, which comes from ice cream, which come from potatoes like fries, right? And then adding to that is that mouthfeel that we like, right? That's comforting. So when we're sleep deprived, there's also a part of us that is more apt to be seduced by wanting to feel comforted and relaxed, because there's this edginess that we have subconsciously. And so we end up getting more seduced, or, reaching more for those foods like greasy, oily, high fat foods like fries or ice cream or something like that. So, and this is something that we often will then say to ourselves, oh my God, I have bad willpower, or we blame it on ourselves. And the thing is like, it's not really you. It is you, because it's your biology, but it's not something wrong with you. And it's something that used to be something that I used to do all the time, especially before I brought that habit or that dynamic into my conscious awareness, which is really, really important to do in order to change a behavior that feels like it's our default setting. So for me, I would come home from work or I would come home after a long day, and I would immediately, again, when I was not so conscious to this biological connection between exhaustion and hunger hormones and all this stuff, I would eat whatever was easiest. And as an emotional eater, or as somebody that also struggled with body image and things like that, that often was a very slippery slope towards a binge, or towards feeling bad about myself, or towards getting into an obsessive cycle loop about food and about my weight and all that stuff, because like that one unconscious moment that was stemming from something that was biological would lead to a night or even a couple of days of feeling, of emotional eating, or just feeling low self-worth, low self-esteem. So this is why awareness and understanding of this stuff is so important, because it gives us that motivation and that self-compassion to heal. Right? When we realize it's not our fault, it makes it easier to feel motivated to overcome. Okay. And that's what I want you to understand here. But to take it further, when it comes to the weight, right? Because sometimes if you fall into the bucket of, well, I also feel like I can't let go of weight, it's because, even if you are, right? So let's say that you then become more conscious of what you're eating. You then become more conscious of making more aligned decisions in the moment. And you still find that potentially the weight's not being released in your body. And the reason that could happen is because your cortisol levels are still high.